Good morning to everyone. Today in this video we are going to discuss about a topic moving coil ballistic galvanometer. So what is galvanometer? I think many of you know about galvanometer. You have heard in class 12 also, 10, class 10 also. Actually galvanometer is a device which is used to measure current. It is a very sensitive device. But we are not going to study the same galvanometer. There is a topic here, ballistic galvanometer, which is different from simple galvanometer. In ballistic galvanometer, we do not measure current directly. Here we measure quantity of electric charge. Okay, and in this galvanometer, since coil rotates, so it is called moving coil ballistic galvanometer. So let us see first what is its principle, on which principle it works. Actually, what happens when current is passed in the coil of the galvanometer, the two sides, parallel sides, which is perpendicular to the magnetic field, experience a magnetic force which is equal and opposite. So it constitutes a torque, and this torque is responsible to deflect the coil. And later we will see in mathematical part that what is its deflection, and we will measure deflection which will be directly proportional to the quantity of charge, because impulse is produced, torque is produced. So we will discuss later on. First we will see its construction. See here, this is coil. Okay, and it has so many turns. The coil has so many turns. We will assume n is the number of turns, and this coil hangs, or actually it is suspended between the two pole pieces. Shape is concave, and horseshoe magnet is strong. It is suspended through a phosphor bronze wire, and this is terminal T1, means upper end of the phosphor bronze wire or suspension wire is connected with the terminal T1. And as I told you, these are the two poles, pole N and pole S. And lower end of the coil is connected with the hair spring. This is your hair spring, which restores the coil. Actually it works as a restoring torque, because whenever coil deflects due to current, this hair spring brings the coil in its original position, and hair spring is connected with the terminal T2. Now you can see this cylindrical part. It is iron core. It has two purposes. First, it concentrates the magnetic field lines inside the coil, and second, it makes the magnetic field radial. Okay, this is the construction. This is about construction of the galvanometer. So main part is coil, suspension wire, two pole pieces, and the current which is passed connected between the terminal T1 and T2. Here, suppose n is the number of turns, A is the area of the coil. What is area? Area, suppose its length is L and breadth is B. Then this is your breadth. The length and breadth is called area. I have assumed here A. And this magnet produces magnetic field, magnetic B, in this direction. This is the direction of magnetic field. Okay, and I is the current flowing through it. As I told you, it is connected with T1 and T2, so current will flow like this. When current will flow through this coil, a torque acts on the coil. How much? NBIA. Here it will be NBIA or NBAI. I is missing here. So you are, I am saying that here you have to correct it. You have to read it tau is equal to NBAI. Okay, and it is equal to C theta. Theta is the deflection due to current in the coil, and C is the restoring torque or torsional rigidity per unit twist. If the current flows for a short interval time dt, I am taking first a small interval of time, then torque will be NBAI dt. And I dt, the product of I dt means current times the time, is called charge. So I have written here dq. Since current is passing for a small interval, so it is taken dt and here dq. If the current passes for t second, now time is t, then charge will be q. You can see here. After what to do? We have to integrate it from 0 to t to get the charge here and impulse. Total, it is a angular impulse, total angular impulse. Let I be the moment of inertia. Here, I want to say that you should not confuse. This I is current here, and this I is the moment of inertia. I say, oh, here I is the moment of inertia. So you should not confuse. Let I be the moment of inertia. Then angular change in angular momentum I omega is equal to NBAQ. So Q is equal to I omega by NBA. The kinetic energy I omega square, as it is assumed that it is used to twist the suspension wire, completely used. Here it is used as a kinetic energy used to twist the suspension wire so that work is done on it in twisting. How much work? Half c theta square. So half I omega square is equal to what? Half c theta square. Half cancel out. I omega square is equal to c theta square. So this is your equation 4 and this is your equation 3. You can see here 3 and 4. The period of oscillation t is equal to 2 pi root I by c. So I is equal to t square c 4 pi square. Again here I is the moment of inertia. Now equation 4 is I omega square here. Okay. And equation 5 is here I left side. If we multiply these two equations, here I omega square into I, it will be I square omega square. Here t square c square theta square by 4 pi square. So we remove the square from each part. So it will be I omega is equal to this one. Now once I got the value of I omega and this value is taken in equation 3 to get Q is equal to this one. Q is equal to, and this is the charge, expression for charge. If I assume this part K, then it will be K is equal, Q is equal to K theta, where K is equal to this one, galvanic ballistic reduction factor, it is known as. Here, one thing is important here, it cannot be ignored. What is the important thing here? The kinetic energy, as I told you, completely used to twist the suspension fiber. It was assumed that the whole kinetic energy used to twist the suspension fiber. But actually it is not so. A part of this energy is used to overcoming damping force. This damping force comes from air resistance or due to EMF induced, that is known as electromagnetic damping. So a part of energy is used in overcoming damping force. So there is no question of that whole energy will be used to impart twist or to twist. You will be used to twist the wire. So we need correction, and that correction is known as damping correction. Now, when coil deflects, it goes left side, it goes right side, left side, right side. If theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 pipe are deflection to the left side and theta 2, theta 4, theta 6 in the right side, then we can write the ratio of the equal to D. What is D? D is a constant called decrement, and logarithm, if log is taken with this, then it is called logarithm decrement denoted by lambda. So lambda is equal to this, or D is equal to. That is why we can write this one. For one complete oscillation means two successive throws on the same side. It is equal to 2 lambda. So for log decrement for one oscillation 2 lambda, but when we take the 1 by 4th of an oscillation, try to understand here. When coil deflects one side, it completes only 1 by 4 oscillation because it goes right side. Suppose start right side, goes to left side, again returns to left side, comes to right side, then it is fourth part, then it completes one cycle. Here 1 by 4 means e to the power lambda by 2, because for 1 e to the 2 lambda. Okay. If theta is the first correct through when damping was not present, and theta 1 is the throw which is observed on the same side when damping is present, then theta by theta 1 is equal to this one, or theta is equal to this one, and e to the power lambda by 2 may be written as 1 plus lambda by 2. So q is equal to this. This is the expression for charge after damping correction. Okay, I hope you have understood this video. Okay, thank you.